In continuing my research, I'm interested in looking at this genre on a much deeper level than just the interviews, although those interviews were incredibly insightful, especially some of the ideas about the connections between society and our nature as a visual culture. On that note, it made me think a little bit more about researching theories for writing and genres that could bring in the social connection, the cultural connection, the connection to the actual authors of the genres and all of those components. In my research, I came across a theory that changed my way of thinking about what goes into the creation of a genre as a whole and answers some of the questions that I posed in my first two videos. This theory brings an understanding to how a genre's identity is constructed, where the conventions of that genre come from, and how interactions a genre has within society both shape the genre and reflect the culture in which that genre is constructed. The theory that I discovered that does this is called CHAT, which is an acronym for Cultural Historical Activity Theory. In short, it explores the how, the what, and the why of writing. This theory asks you to recognize the varied elements that work together to explain a genre, such as the environment that surrounds that genre, the audience that interacts with that genre, and the tools, the actions, and other inspirations that go into the creation of it. Chat says that each piece of writing is being affected by the cultural aspect of the time and place that that genre is being written in, like the society of the writer and the readers of that piece. Furthermore, the piece is individualized by the unique history of the writer's life that is composing that piece, and I would also say the readers, the unique history that they bring to the piece as well, since they'll be interacting with it. And Chat also includes in it the history of the genre itself, the evolution of that piece from wherever it began, the prototypical genre that started it, and as it's moved through history into the genre that we see it as today and how we know it. Now, Chat can get pretty heavy sometimes, and at points I have to admit that even I have been confused by it. So, in order to better understand it myself, I decided to break it down as the acronym, focusing on each of the pieces and thinking about what are some questions that I can ask myself or things that I can interrogate further in order to better understand all of the multifaceted components that go into a genre's construction according to Chat theory. I thought I would go backwards, so we're going to start with A instead. The A in Chat, referring to activity, made me really think about what is the author doing? What are the actions that the author is actually doing in order to bring this piece into creation, this genre into creation? What are the tools that are going to be needed in order to create that actual piece? And even before all of that, what kind of planning, brainstorming, conceiving of the ideas for that genre? What has to be done there in order for the activity of the genre's existence to come about? With historical, I thought about what does the past of this specific genre look like? From where did this genre evolve? What was its beginning, its prototypical version? Where did it come from? What are the steps of it? What caused that evolution throughout history? But also, more than just the history of the genre as it evolved, I think about the here and the now of history, as in this moment, right now, right here in our lives, and how do all of the components of history right now affect the existence of this genre. If this genre were created 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, how would it be different? How will this genre change 20, 30, 40 years from now into the future? So all of the moments of like snapshots of history and where that genre is placed in that part of history will affect the characteristics of that genre. Finally, with culture, I really think that culture involves the others, other people, other genres, the interactions that go on. So with the cultural, it made me really think about how do people perceive this genre? How do others interact with this genre? How do they take it up? How do they respond to it? How do they pass it on to others? Any other form of interaction or involvement that people outside the author, and including the author, involve themselves in direct connection with this genre. Furthermore, as far as people and society go, how do the values of a society affect the creation of a genre? How do they limit it? How do they maybe have some unspoken rules that have to be followed based on what's acceptable and unacceptable in society? How do they allow for this genre to be open, these values that we have in our culture? Lastly, what role does this genre perform in society? And kind of on a historical side note, connecting the two, has the role that the genre's performed in society changed throughout history, and why? I chose to really analyze this genre through chat because after discovering chat and getting more involved in the readings about this theory, I realized that a lot of what I discovered in my interviews, a lot of what I was asking myself in some of my earlier videos, all of those started involving the components of cultural historical activity theory in a way that I was already kind of thinking about this genre through chat. So if I just take it a little bit further, I think that this theory can give me a more complex understanding of the surroundings and the creation of my particular focus genre of a vlog. So, by exploring the cultural and historical implications of the activity of a vlog, I can better grasp why a vlogger makes a video like he or she does, how an audience will take up and respond to that particular vlog, and what other parts of history and environment of this genre will mean for the vlog that I'm making myself. So, I hope to continue my research, maybe emphasizing these components that I've discovered and thought about through the cultural historical activity theory of chat, answering a few of the questions that this theory has brought up, if I can, and really just exploring the genre a lot more as an author, as a writer, as a researcher, as a citizen in society that will be affecting the genre in the future, maybe. So, thanks, and hopefully you'll keep watching my next couple of videos.